Skunk Control are a group of educators, scientists and engineers, and we get together and we sort of create artwork, I suppose. There's a nice way of communicating science via art, and they are both about discovery. We try and create art which not just has a science aspect, but we want to create artwork where it takes you back to those childhood memories and that excitement that you had. I think the best way to explain is that we want to create art that is reminiscent of what you would find behind the cupboard in your room, basically, the magic garden. We want people to go back to those memories, especially if they're adults, and get that sort of sense of wonder more than anything else. Prevaricated frequency is the name of the actual installation. It explores light, and it explores light by putting it through polarizing filters and seeing the effects of that. Light has a wavelength and a frequency associated with it, and prevaricated can be assumed to be something of a false or a lie. And the reason we use those words, I suppose, is that light, it's not what you always expect. So the lie is about the fact that you think that it's only going to be white light, when you can actually get it to change. City of Melbourne had seen one of our installations, and they were in the process of launching a new initiative. Creative Spaces were going to be launching the Dirty Dozen. And they asked us whether we would be happy to launch it. I think what's unique about it is that it's actually quite a substantially large space. You've got to actually structure in such a way in which the theme can be stated without obviously being stated. You've got a captive audience, and they have to pass through this particular area to get to the other side. So you've got an opportunity, and a fantastic opportunity, to create some work which people are going to see, and hopefully they're going to be affected by. The artwork actually is made up of a number of polarizing filters, and there's a lot of mechatronics in there, so we've actually got a lot of moving parts. Some parts actually move very, very slightly, so you don't get to see them very often, but they use muscle wire, which is simply wire that reacts to heat, so it allows for a contraction of the wire itself. And we do actually use different types of plastics in which we're treated, and we're also using different types of sugars which provide for basically a rotation of light as well. We integrated some brand new sort of concepts that we hadn't used before, like different types of soft materials. But using sugar solutions was a bit of a revelation for us, purely because we'd put it off for so long, and when we finally did it, we got what we wanted exactly. Finding out how we get the right color combinations, or rather get a certain type of vividness, is where we had to do a significant amount of research. Using different types of plastics, but then treating the plastics. It was heat treating it, it was pulling it, it was actually shearing it, it was actually doing a number of different things to it, layering it possibly. But light has got so many aspects to it and so many facets to it. It can be sort of manipulated, it can be bent, but you can never ever change what it actually is. The idea of discovery in our artwork is the cornerstone. I'd actually would say it's the most important. We actually undertake a large number of outreach programs, and by doing that we found that the community could relate to certain principles that we were trying to get across using not the traditional type of way of explaining things. And an extension of that is basically trying to get the community to understand science through art. The fact that they ask questions about how it's working is also wonderful too, because that's the whole point. They're exploring, and that's what we've always wanted to be about. For kids, basically, it's a way of actually getting them to fall in love with what they're seeing and to ask questions, definitely. It's also the same thing for adults as well, to ask questions, but with adults, we want it for them to go back to their childhood and actually have those fond memories and have those aspirations, or go back to that sort of point in their lives where anything is possible.